This is the third solution video for the challenge I called Mega Challenge War. And we left off with the scenario where we're performing the battle, but we're not evaluating the war condition, where the two cards that are flipped over are of the same kind, and that should prompt a placement of three other cards, two bounty cards, and a middle card that gets flipped up and evaluated. And so if there's a winner there, then the winner takes the entire bounty. If there's another tie, then it sparks another war. And so that's an iterative situation that can continue to happen over and over until there's a winner. So we need to implement that. And also, kind of to back up a little bit here, taking a look at this game class, it's really been stretched beyond what its original intent was. I wanted to delegate the responsibility of coordinating the activities of the other classes. However, now I've given it the responsibility of the battle loop to get the card to perform that evaluation, and so I don't feel comfortable with that. I think that's a whole other responsibility in the system that needs to be given its own class. So we're going to make a battle class, and that will contain the typical battles as well as this new war that we're going to have to implement. And then finally, near the end, we're going to format everything so it looks good. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to right-click and add a new class called Battle. And I'm going to start moving some things over from the game class that really belong in this new class. And let's take pretty much the perform evaluation and the get card. Let's grab that over first. And we're going to also take this code right here, and we're going to create a new method out of it. I think it's going to be called perform battle, maybe. So public void perform battle, and we're going to need to give it player 1, player 2, and then do that, and that, and that, and that should work. Okay. Now, looks like we're going to need that bounty private field, so let's grab that. And we'll also grab where it's instantiated in the constructor. So we'll need to create public battle. And we'll take this out too. All right, so we need to create a new battle. And then we're going to call the new battle dot perform battle, passing in player 1 and player 2. All right. So at this point, nothing should have really changed. We just removed out the code that was in the game class into a new class. Let's make sure this works before we move on. And at least we get back to the functionality we had. Okay, we do get back to that functionality. And so we're good to go there. Let's just clean up some empty spaces here. And get rid of this. This is much as obvious. And let's clean that up. Okay, great. So most of our work's going to be in this battle class at this point. And the condition that we want to check for is right here. We want to see what happens when the card values are the same. So let's redo this if statement. If card1 dot card value is equal to card2 dot card value, then what we need to do is create a new helper method called war. So private void war. This is called war. And what's war going to need? Well, it's going to need the players at a minimum. So let's go ahead and pass those in. Player 1, player 2. And And what we'll do here is we're going to need to add some things to the bounty, and then, actually we need to add 3 new cards to the bounty from each side, and then evaluate that middle card, what I'll call the war card. So, and I'm also going to get references to each of these cards that we pluck off and we add to the bounty, and I'm going to use those references to maybe to display. Do I even need to do that? I'm not sure I need to do that. I don't think we need those references. Okay, so here's what we can do. Let's go get card player. So player 1. So we'll put 2 cards from each player in the bounty, and they're just pure bounty cards. They have no other value than to just be kind of the ante to have this war. It's what's at stake, right? Now, in between of those cards, because we are grabbing the card at the top of the deck, so to speak, we are going to need to get the war card 1 equals get card player 1, and we'll need to do that war card 2. Actually, let me do this and that. What? There we go. Get card for the player 2. Okay. And then what we need to do is perform the evaluation. But wait, we already have a perform evaluation, and we can use it again. In fact, what's beautiful about it is that when performing the war evaluation, those 2 cards are equal, it'll call the war again. Sweet. So I think this is just going to work like this. Perform evaluation, player 1, player 2, and then war card 1 and war card 2, like so. All right, the next thing that I want to do is actually print everything out so I can see it, because right now I'm kind of shooting in the dark. I don't really know if it's working or not. So what I want to do is I want to list the bounty cards, and I want to list the 2 cards that are going to war or going to battle. So let's do private void display battle cards, and then private void display bounty cards. Okay. And let's see what we can do here. Let's use a string builder. Again, not crazy about string builder in this case. I just think it's not a very elegant way to go about this. There will be better ways to do this later once we learn about how to handle cross-cutting concerns like logging and things of that nature. But for now, this will do. All right, so let's display the battle cards at a minimum. So here we want to go sb.append, and we're going to use that a bunch of times. So let's go ahead and just copy the whole thing and then go like that. That's probably enough. In fact, let's go ahead and do it here too, because I know I'm going to use it. Yeah, I'll get back there in a little bit. All right, battle cards. Right, what we need are the 2 battle cards. Card 1 and card 2. And so we want to show, first of all, that these are the battle cards. So let's start with a line break. And then let's go battle cards. I don't know. And what should we do here? How could I do this? I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so we're going to put card 1 dot its kind, and then like space of card 1 dot suit. All right, need more. Then versus, and then card 2 dot kind of card 2 dot suit, right? And I should just be able to, I should just leave it. If it's private, I can use it throughout the instance of the class, so we're good to go there. Now, the bounty cards, I'm going to need to do this a little bit differently because there might be a bunch of bounty cards, and I really don't know what I'm working with here. And we've already got bounty as like a private member, so what I can do is for each tab var card, card in underscore bounty, and let's put this one up here because I think what we're going to say is br bounty ... right? And then this could be a bunch of stuff. First thing I want to do is BR and then NBSP for the non-breaking space character, and I'm actually going to put that in like 4 times just to make some indentation to see what are all the bounty items. And then card dot kind space of space and then card dot suit. That should be all we need there, I think. That looks good. All right, so where do we put these? Where are we calling these from? Display battle cards. I would think that you would do that here under perform evaluation because you got the cards, and these are the 2 cards that are going to be battle cards, right? So we should be able to do card 1, card 2. I think we're good to go there. Now, the bounty, where would we do this at? You know, in fact, this whole bounty situation is just mangled. I mean, this perform evaluation is doing a bunch of stuff now. It is not only performing the actual evaluation between 2 cards and then deciding who's the winner, but then it's also managing bounties too. Look at this, like you're managing bounties there, you're managing bounties there, and then you're clearing out bounties. Meh. Let's do this. Let's call this award winner. So private void award winner, and you're going to give it the player that won. So now we can take this one, basically stick it there. Yeah, here, and clear. Okay. Wait, is that correct? Is that what I want to do? Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm going to add the range. It should add it to the end. Let me just confirm this because I'm a little concerned about this. How does add range work? Adds the elements of the specified collection to the end. Okay, that's good. That's what we want to do. Take the cards and stick them on the end, right? So we want to do award winner, and passing in who, I guess in this case, player 1, and in this case, I'm going to go player 2, and then what we want to do is actually display the bounty cards. And I don't think we need to do anything fancy, pass anything in, because we're just working with that private field. So that should work like that. Okay. Now I'm not 100% positive this is going to work. Let me just scan through it real quick here. Got the war. I think that's going to work. Got the perform evaluation. I think that works. Get a card. That we didn't touch that. We didn't touch the perform battle. Did we touch the perform battle? You know what we really needed to do now? We got this string builder with a bunch of strings built up, but we need to return it back to the caller. So again, not crazy about this solution, but this will have to do for now. So we're going to return sb.toString, and that should just about do it. Oh, well, yeah, here's one other thing I need to do. SB equals new string builder. Glad I thought of that. All right, now that should be it for this new battle class. Let's go back to game and make sure it's calling it correctly. Perform battle. It is calling it correctly, but we're not getting the result back. So result plus equals the perform battle. I think that'll work. Let's see why it wouldn't work. But let's go ahead and run it and see what we have here. I'm not claiming that we're there yet, but all right, we have the deal. All right, here we got the battle. All right, so here's the battle cards. The 3 of clubs versus the Jack of spades. So those are the 2 bounty cards, but I never say who the winner is. Okay, let's stop this. You know what? I got another idea too that I think is going to be a winner. Now, admittedly, embedding HTML in your strings is probably not a good idea. There's other ways to go about this. You'll learn about that in the ASP.NET series. Don't want to talk about that now. I'm going to take a shortcut and assume only an English audience. But if this was a worldwide audience, I would need to do this a little bit differently, okay? So I never called determine winner. Maybe that's part of the problem here. Or do I? I do. All right, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to use a span. In fact, we're going to go ahead and wrap an H3 around the winner. No, but that's just a winner for 1 card. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's do style, and again, another thing you shouldn't do is use inline styles. I'm really doing this accommodatively because I don't want to really explain how to do this the right way yet. You'll learn the right way to do this with classes and CSS selectors and things of that nature. But I'm doing this the old-fashioned way just to knock something out here. So every time we're going to refer to player 1, I'm going to use a red, and every time I refer to player 2, I'm going to use blue, I guess. So I'm going to do color, colon, red, semicolon, and then font weight, I'm going to put bolder like that. All right, so that should be good. Now I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here and change red to blue. And let's go with a closing span like that. And we'll start with another span and around the card count. So this will make it a little bit easier for us to see what belongs to who, I think anyway. Well, this might blow up on me, but we're going to give it a shot. And blue and like that. All right, let's see if there's any other obvious spots where I need to do this. Probably in the battle. In the battle cards, right. We can't do it there. Perform evaluation, award the winner. Not really. Oh, we could do it there, but that's gonna take a little bit of effort. I don't want to do it there. Display bounty cards. Not doing it there. Display the battle cards. Right. See, I don't want to do any of that. I guess I'm being lazy here. All right, well, let's see what we have here before we get too far into this. I can't even remember what I was going to do on my long-term memory shot. Why aren't I getting any colors? Oh, I did get colors. That wasn't really what I wanted. Oh, yeah, I wanted to say who won that round after the battle. I knew I was forgetting something here. So the award winner should... in fact, here, let's do a strong around this. Oops. the player name. Append and wins strong. BR. Okay. Now, ideally, I would probably put this into its own method to kind of match what I'm doing with all these displays, but I'm going to be lazy here and leave it like it is. Still want to fix that. Now, how the heck did that happen? How do we get so much bounty? Oh, I see. No, I don't see. Yeah, Jack versus Jack. Right. Yep, that looks pretty legit. Although, why am I calling this a second time? Why does that get called a second time? Huh. I think I've got a small problem with the war scenario. Let's take a look at that war scenario a little bit more closely. Oh, yeah, I know what it is. Yep. I don't know that we can avoid that. Whenever it's because of that looping situation that we're going to get this. Display the battle cards and the winner. As it's unwinding, that's just going to happen. So during a war, we come in here the first time, we hit war happens, and we call into this again. So we're back into this now for the second time, but we've got kind of one waiting in the wings, and now we're at it on the top of the stack, so to speak. And we do it again, and once a winner is decided, we call award winner once, and then we return. But now we have to return from that to the one that was originally the one that kicked it off, and they're calling award winner on that one too. I wonder if there's a better way to do that. Well, I guess the easy, cheap way would be to do something like this. If the bounty is 0, if the bounty's count is greater than 0, bounty.count, then we could avoid that. And same here. Because if we've already given away the bounty by calling the award winner the first time, we're not going to need to do it again. So now let's see what we get. That may not work either. Here we go. It solves this scenario, but it looks like it's created some other problems. So that's not the right solution to that problem. Maybe we could attack it more at its source here. All right, so now let's go to try this. To add the range to the bounty. Yeah, if there is no bounty, then we can just exit out. So maybe this will be the trick. Count is 0, then we'll just return. See how that works. And also, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead out to the game because this has been bugging me. And we're going to do something like yeah, actually let's do this. Result plus equals, and here we'll go H3, and we'll go dealing cards, and then we'll do begin battle. All right. That should split things up nicely too. Okay, begin the battle. So I'm looking for a scenario where we have a war, and there was no wars in that time, so let's play this again. Ah, here we go. This is it. Battle cards. You know what would be helpful is if it is a war situation to say war, but I thought we had that in there. I thought we had something that said war. Did we not? Battle. Ah, we don't. That's good. Here, watch this. So go. You cannot miss the fact that this is going to be a war situation right here. Great. Go. Whoops. Ah, here we go. War. Battle cards. Right. War. Good, good, good. Bounty. Player 1 was. I think I got it. All right, so this is what we want here. Well, let me put that player 2 on the next line. One last little thing here, and then we'll be done. Player 2 needs to be on the next line. So this is pretty ugly. I don't like all the things we've done to print things out just to the page. Apologize for that. But I think there's better ways to do that, as I keep saying that, and we just haven't gotten there yet. So just hang in there with me. All right, this looks legit. Okay, so there you go. I think that's a solution. You probably have solved it in a dramatically different way than I did, and that's fine. In fact, that's awesome, because now you saw the way you did it and the way I did it, and hopefully that gives you some new ideas. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this mega challenge. Hopefully you did it. If you didn't, remember what I always say. Come back to it tomorrow and do it again, and then come back to it the next day and do it again until you get the thought process firmly ensconced in your mind, because that's how you're going to learn. You know, you might memorize some of the specific techniques, but you're going to be challenged again and think, oh yeah, that maneuver is how I solve that issue, and this maneuver is how I solve that problem. And you'll just practice and exercise those maneuvers, those mental maneuvers, until you get those chops under your belt and you're using them in real apps. Okay, so great. Let's move on and keep learning. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.